Lloydminster has recorded its latest homicide. Police are now treating the death of a man found in a room at the Best Lodge Motel as a homicide.
As a result of the autopsy, our members are now treating the death as a homicide, and so we are asking for the public's assistance in providing information that may help further our investigation in this case.
Police responded to the motel early Thursday morning when the initial call came in at 4:15. A man was found with what police say were serious injuries. He was already dead when they arrived. The victim has been identified as 51-year-old Dustin Anthony Ferrante from the Winnipeg area.
We don't have any information to indicate that this is a gang-related incident at this time, and that is something that our investigators are currently working on.
Now, police are not releasing details of the autopsy. Police are asking anyone who may be a witness or know of any information to contact them. An area couple has donated $82,000 towards Lakeland College's centennial campaign to create an endowment fund for student awards. Now, the money was donated by Dr. Arthur McGinnis and his wife Gladys. McGinnis graduated from the Vermilion School of Agriculture back in 1941. He says he credits a $100 wheat board scholarship he earned for making it possible to attend university both in Vermilion and Edmonton. Now, his donation will be used towards a $2,000 annual scholarship for a second-year agricultural sciences student who intends to earn a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. While the state of healthcare is a growing issue here in the border city, in part 2 of our sit-down interview with Mayor Jeff Mulligan, Elise Cox discusses with him his plans to involve both provincial governments in a healthcare summit. Now, they also discuss the possibility of seeing public transportation in the near future.
I'm joined here with the mayor of our city, Jeff Mulligan. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good to be here, Elise.
Now, one of our biggest issues as a bi-provincial city is healthcare. And how is the city trying to make this as seamless as possible?
Well, I've said from day one that healthcare is a provincial matter, but it's such an impact on our brand, and our brand known as Lloydminster. If we are known for not having the best of healthcare delivery, then we have to do everything we can to broker, bring people together, work on this as a priority, even though it's outside of our jurisdiction. And so in Lloydminster, we have the bi-provincial issue, but it's critically important that that delivery be seamless. We're told if you're in Alberta and your hospital's in Saskatchewan, your doctor might be Saskatchewan licensed, but he can't help you when you get to the Pioneer Lodge. We have issues all over the place like that. And so for me, it's important that we bring the decision makers together from both provinces, get a contract that defines who does what, and then we lay out the milestones to successfully putting a Lloydminster health delivery model together.
And the plans for that, what are the plans for that? And it's being called the Healthcare Summit, a Healthcare Summit?
Yeah, we've talked about it being called a Health Summit, Health Services Summit. Most importantly, I've talked to Minister Duncan in Saskatchewan, I've talked to Minister Horn in Alberta, I've talked to the Alberta Health Services Senior Management and Prairie North Senior Administration plus their board. Everybody says, yes, we think now is the time to proceed. So I think in the next quarter you're going to see some tangible evidence of it being planned and the deliverables well defined.
And you mentioned that now would be the best time to do it. Why do you think now is the time?
Well, very seldom do we get both provincial governments lining up with elections quite a ways in the future and two cabinets solidly installed with ministers and staff in place where they can make decisions and probably live long enough to execute them.
And now we'll move along to growth. And as our city grows, we're seeing some problems in traffic. Maybe what are some of the things the city is planning on doing to alleviate some traffic pains that we have here?
Well, I never like to call them problems. These are challenges with growth. We're one of the fastest and most successful growing economies and cities in either province. So here we are. We have a challenge with, guess what, transportation. I'd rather talk about growth-related problems like this than the opposite, shrinkage or a dead economy. So yes, the Highway 17 certainly is high profile. If you're there during rush hour, it's an issue. So the one-way couplet is going to be a focus, and we've approved it a few years ago, and we're waiting for funding. As the funding comes in, we'll be doing that work. It'll likely start at Highway 16, 44th Street, and between 40th, so that we can get that first batch of work done on the couplet itself, which is right around the exciting new Synergy Credit Union project.
And so, sticking with traffic, we are also kind of thinking about public transportation. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about maybe how the city plans to bring public transportation here.
Well, as we deal with the 2013-2014 budgets, We've got to decide as a council what kind of priority we place on public transit. I personally want to see us move that forward. Whether move that forward means getting through a study and establishing budget, whether it means putting a trial in place of small 13, 14 passenger vans on a defined circuit. But I don't think we can ignore that we're too little to be big, we're too big to be little. We've got to do something. We either have to take a definitive position on this and quit playing games, or we've got to say we're going ahead. So there's got to be some decision making done around public transit. You cannot ignore it any longer.
And that all kind of has to do with growth. And as our city grows, the city has started a key focus and development plan. Is that right?
Yeah, I think most importantly is you got to run the city like a business as it grows. So the first thing for us was to put a comprehensive municipal development plan in place. That'll be released in the spring. That's the E4 plan we talk about. Underneath of that, you have a sustainability plan, an economic development plan, and the city's strategic plan. That strategic plan really defines the 1 to 3 year important priorities and how we're going to deliver value to the taxpayers. So for us, it's getting this focus on where we're going in 2013, 2014, 2015, and that really talks to some of the things that you and I have talked about, be it attainable housing, be it public transit, the transportation routes, truck routes, those sorts of things that can handle a growing economy. And so we look at that, and then we look at the services we deliver in terms of lifestyle, parks and recreation, the types and nature of things we need to improve, Bud Miller Park and the refurbishment there. These are very valuable components of what we call the Lloydminster lifestyle.
And so you obviously have a lot in the works for the city of Lloydminster. Maybe in the next calendar year, where are you hoping that Lloydminster is?
Well, where I'd like to see us is with everybody understanding how the strategic plan is put together, how it ties into what they can expect from the city. But more than anything, when people come to get service from the city of Lloydminster, we want to make sure they're being served by bright people who are committed to giving them value. We've got a great thing started at the city. We've got good people in positions. We're constantly looking at better ways to deliver service. And I think more than anything, communicating. If we can continue to communicate what we're doing, we can create expectations that are aligned with what we can deliver as a city. We'll never have enough money to do everything everybody wants without causing problems. So the key is to make sure we're communicating, we're engaged with the public are giving us that feedback, and I think that's the thing. If the city is delivering more to the expectations, if we do what we say we're going to do, then I think people will continue to see this administration and this city as a great place to live, do business, and grow.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with us, Jeff. That was Jeff Mulligan, Mayor of Lloydminster.
The Dr. Cook is an aging extended care facility in the border city. Now, it's been caring for Lloydminster seniors for decades, but now it sees itself in the center of a heated debate. Now, a portion of the facility was slated for demolition. Kelsey Bloxham sat down with the co-chair of a group fighting to keep the walls of the Dr. Cook intact.
Healthcare, particularly seniors care, has been a big concern in our city for years now. And one of the groups fighting for seniors is the Concerned Citizens Group for Seniors Care. And I'm joined now by the co-chair of that group, Linda Graham. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you guys have been advocating for years now, in particular about the Dr. Cook Extended Care Facility. And it has been a big year for you guys with some success. And that all started back in March when there was a stop order put in place for the demolition of the older wings of the Dr. Cook. And looking back, how important was that move for you guys?
It was huge for us. Up until then, the building was slated for demolition, and we just felt that was just dead wrong. And it gave us time to create a public relations campaign, or a public information campaign, actually, to make the public aware of what was happening right under our noses.
And then earlier, not too long ago, Fred Horn, the Alberta Minister for Health, came to the border city. He toured the facility, and he also met with your group. And what did that mean for you guys?
It meant a great deal. The meeting was arranged by Richard Starkey. We'd asked Richard if he could possibly arrange a meeting with health and or infrastructure. And so he arranged it. It was huge. The big thing to come out of that was that the $2.3 million demolition and the renovations to the north end. There was going to be the addition of one palliative care bed and some moving around of walls in the north end. That was put on hold as well. We were just a little afraid that that would go ahead no matter what, and that was put on hold.
And now, how has your dialogue with the Prairie North Health Region changed over the year?
I think they're a little more open now. They were at that meeting with Mr. Horn, and Bonnie O'Grady certainly did advocate for more capacity, just like we are. And she brought up some other problems as regards to funding and more capacity for acute care as well as for long-term care. So I think we're both realizing that we're talking about the same things and advocating for the same things.
And looking back on the year, how confident are you guys moving forward?
I would say I'm cautiously optimistic. There's a lot of work to be done. There needs to be more collaboration between the provinces and Prairie North. That is going to have to take place on all kinds of levels.
And what does 2013 hold for you and your group?
I think we're going to continue the information campaign. There, believe it or not, thanks to you and the other media sources, that we've received very good coverage, and we really appreciate that help with us getting the word out. We're going to continue with that because, believe it or not, people still don't know who the concerned citizens are and what we're concerned about. So we'll be doing that. We're hoping to have another public meeting. The public meeting we had in October was overwhelming. There are a lot of people out there that with a lot of concerns, and we need to hear that.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. That was Linda Graham, the co-chair of the Concerned Citizens for Seniors Care.